Hey guys, Amandork here. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Peer to Peer. This is my podcast. I'm Amandork from Foster Decor Consulting. I'm super excited you're here because I have a lot of juicy tips that are sure to help your interior or e-design business. If you have any special requests, feel free to email me or DM me for topic ideas. I'm super excited to learn what the community needs help with, as that's what I do, is help my interior and e-design peers. If you have any questions, feel free to also ask away so we can also get to know each other and connect. Super excited you're tuning in. Thank you so much.
Hi guys, Amandork here from Foster Decor Consulting. We have a very special guest on our podcast, Peer to Peer. I want to introduce Amanda Arcone. Please tell us about yourself and, what have you been up to and all of this exciting stuff, because it's been too long.
I know. Miss you. So my name is Amanda Arcone, like you said. I am the owner and principal designer of New England Home and Interiors. I'm an interior design firm located in northern New Hampshire. So we serve the greater New Hampshire and Vermont community, mostly second homeowners that are, living in Boston, New York, that come up here to ski and have second, third, fourth, 5 homes. And so we really work with those clients to, design and decorate inspired spaces. So that's us in a nutshell.
Wait a second. Your ideal client now has 4, 5, 17 homes now, or?
I always say I call them the winter people, because where we are, we get snow. My studio sits at the bottom of Loon Mountain, which is a big ski resort here in New Hampshire. Okay. My farmhouse is at the bottom of another ski mountain. So we service, the ski fanatics, those folks that really invest in our community and love to ski. But they live in Boston and maybe they've got a beach house on the vineyard, or they summer in Europe, or, we have a wide range of clients that don't necessarily live up here full time. We have a few of those, but for the most part, I would say 90% of our business is this is not their primary residence.
Okay, gotcha. So are these more like vacation homes that you're redesigning or renovating?
So we do new builds and large scale renovations. And then we also do, I'm, when it comes to design for me, I'm agnostic in that I'll take on any kind of project if I feel like it's the right client and the right project. So we are working on a couple of new large, mountain homes. We're working on a large scale renovation, but we'll also do those small decor refreshes where you need a new black backsplash in the kitchen. You need new window treatments. You need some new paint. We love to, refresh spaces with, paint is magical. So that's always a really easy, a refresh and update when you want to update your home. So, we will take on those projects as well. And we have those types of projects. So I don't say that I'm just for, big houses, I'm a minimum 7,000 square feet and $4 million. That's not who I am. I'm really, for me as a designer, I really like to work with people that really want to work with us and want the help. And we're pretty intentional about who we work with. So we like to work with people that like us and we like them. So we've been really lucky to, so the niche or the ideal client is good people.
Oh, that's so cool.
To serve. We're good people that like to serve good people. So,
talking about niche, if we rewind, I think, was it in 2022 when we started working together?
Yeah, or 2021, maybe even. I have to go back and look, but it could have been even 21 where we kind of started some early conversations about the website redo.
Wow. Okay. So it's been obviously some time now. And
yeah.
Where were you back in 2021 when we first were working together?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in interior design because I was leaving a corporate career after 30 years. I was really falling into the creative side of myself. But what has evolved over time is while I have this creative side, really building a firm based off my professional experience. So I think I really went into it heavily creatively, like how do I want to work with a client? And I think originally we were looking at things from a virtual perspective because it's kind of where the world was at the time. Mm-hmm. And as I got into some early projects while I was still doing my corporate career, one of the things I realized that I really, 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 really love about interiors is textiles. And that became a key piece for me in figuring out where I wanted to go with my design business. Because I need to, as you can see behind me, I've got probably 2,000 fabric samples in my studio now. It is really important for me to touch and get really involved with textiles. So I started one of my first big projects virtually. It was someone in Boston that was building a home here in this northern part of the state. And we were trying to figure out her couple of things that were custom, right? So sofa, chairs, window treatments. And I was like, I need to really get a bit more involved from a textile perspective in order to design the way I want to design. I couldn't deliver a virtual design. And we tried. Like, she was really lovely and working with me. Mm-hmm. But I just knew for me to be the designer I wanted to be, I needed to step away from the virtual aspect of design and really get involved collaboratively with the client on a one-to-one basis. My design boards are physical boards. I will do some early inspiration digitally, but we build out old school design boards and we present those to clients because I'm a tactile person, and I knew my design firm, for me to build and do things the way I wanted to, I needed to have that experience. To be passionate about it was to be much more physical in the business than digital. So that's the big evolution, really, is how we were starting things. But I do use the digital tools. I mean, those are really important. And so in determining my niche, doing things from a custom perspective were really important. I'm not just selling a Pottery Barn. So like, I don't do anything retail. Everything is custom here. Custom window treatments, custom sofas, custom chairs. We do everything custom.
Wow, that is amazing. That's so cool. I didn't know that you branched off in that direction. So that was another reason why I was like, we need to get on a podcast and talk about this.
Yeah, because I felt like that would, for me to stand out from the crowd, I was like, how do you do that? And what I think in interior design is a fairly crowded marketplace. So how do I stand out as me, my person, the one and only Amanda, just like you're the one and only of you, and you're amazing, and you have this brand. But my brand is a very collaborative, getting to know my clients, letting them get to know me, being in their spaces a lot, and having them be in my studio. So having a studio space was also a piece of that was critical, which then led me, as I was getting into more projects, to as you do get more involved with clients, they're relying on you. Okay, I'm buying $3,000 wallpaper. Okay, I need a certified wallpaper installer, not just so-and-so's
thumbtack,
great aunt that likes to put up wallpaper.
Or a neighbor's friend of a friend.
Yeah. So as I got more involved in these things, I needed a really great tile guy, like someone who, if I'm going to buy thousands of dollars in tile, I need a really good tile guy. So it just, all these things evolved, and getting involved in the community and just being that person that could deliver not just a beautiful design, but executing on it too. That becomes the brand, is who am I bringing along with me in this journey? And that's really important. So
awesome. No, I love that. I mean, when we rewind and we go all the way back, it probably was in 2021 when we were still kind of coming off COVID and everyone was working from home. And I was getting a lot, of people coming to me like, I want to learn e-design. And that's where it was like, okay, the world is going virtually, but I didn't want for any of my clients and you to just rush into, let's just make the logo, let's just make the website, we'll just, jump ahead and like, wait a second, let's learn more about you, because like you said, there's only one Amanda Arcone. So we really want you to be a part of your brand and discover kind of what makes you excited. And as we were kind of going in that direction, it sounded like after we finished, you went in another direction, but it was still part of you and your personality that we were trying to pull from, because a lot of people are hiding behind their logo or not really kind of embracing, like, this is my business, this is my brand, I'm a part of it. And you totally have. And I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think that's a good discovery too when people work with you, is going through, don't hide who you are. Even though I'm designing some of these mountain homes are a little bit more rustic than I would go, or a little bit more modern than I would normally go, I have an appreciation for so many different design styles. Like that's my problem, man. Like, I love all the things, right? Like, I think as a designers, we say we love one style, but I'm not gonna lie, like, I love a good white sofa, just like anybody else. So I think that it's really important. It's funny, I want to show you something. We just had custom thank you cards made up for our firm. Let me grab one.
Oh my gosh.
Even though we're like this, we're an interior design firm, people know, and I think people have to really dig into, like, what is, you can have your niche, but your niche doesn't mean anything if you don't know what your value is. So you really have to understand your worth and your value. And that goes to, like, so many different things, like how you charge, how much you're charging, how you build, like, all the things. But even though you're helping someone build a 7,000 square foot, mountain home, and you don't live in one, or that's not your favorite style, you can still tell them what you like, and you can still put your touches in their home because they appreciate that. It's a lot of decisions to make. But anyway, so yes, we're New England Home and Interiors, but they know that I'm Amanda, and that they've hired me to do a certain job, and I live here, and I'm local. So one of my really big values is that I live here. I have resources. A lot of people do bring their Boston and New York designers up, but I'm here. I can run over to the job site. I can do all the things to be present for when things arrive and arranging schedules and things. So that's really a lot of the value I bring. But still, I'm Amanda, who lives in an 1800s farmhouse. So we had our thank you cards. My other designer, our little thank you, but we still have our cute farmhouse, and then pictures from inside my home, because it's from me to you. One, I'm appreciative, but I'm appreciative because of who I am, not because I'm appreciative because of who I am, and that you've allowed me to come in your home and help you with,
and that's why we did so much with your branding, so that it really represents you. And I'm so glad you're still using, like, the color palette and the fonts and the photos and everything. It's just
absolutely we did a lot of work. I mean, because even though I'm marketing myself to builders and tradespeople and to clients, it's still who I am, and it's also indicative, and I think people need to kind of think about that too, is where are you sitting? Like, what is your community like? What is your community like? Or what do you want that community to be? We're a very casual community. People come up here, they're not coming up here in their high heels and their expensive suits. Like, they're coming up in their casual clothes, and they're coming up here to relax. So it was really important for me to also have a very relaxed casual to fit that, because I didn't want to, also we're at muddy job site, so sometimes I have to wear my muck boots, but you still want to look professional and be professional, but you still want to you don't want to be something that you're not. You really have to be yourself.
And I honestly miss your home because I remember so many gorgeous photos. It was like walking into a fairy tale. So I just wanted to ask, like, are you still a super host and kind of doing the Airbnb stuff with your farmhouse?
No, it became too much for me, with this business. The business really took off, and having a physical, brick and mortar, having a studio, it became too much to balance with the property. Right. So it was a little too much, and I really went all in on my business. So it was more than I can handle.
Well, I mean, if I come out there, can I see the fairy tale, like, farmhouse?
There's always a room for you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
And I mean, I loved those pictures. They were so vibrant and colorful and just, almost like this maximalist cottage, decor style. And I just want to ask, like, do you miss that? Or are you like, you know what, my client projects are one thing, but in my home, I'm still kind of, able to flaunt and design and decorate and add to it?
Yes, I think this is what all interior designers would say, is that because I've been so busy with client projects, that my poor house has fallen to the wayside. But we do have some projects coming up. I'm going to redo a lot of my window treatments. So I am, one of the things I did with my business is I expanded into custom window treatments, both hard treatments and soft treatments. So I have a window treatment designer on staff now. And so I keep telling her, I'm like, can you come to my house and measure my windows so we can do my windows? Because I need your window treatment. So, I love that. That is absolutely my style. I'm so happy to be working on another project where she loves wallpaper and like mixing patterns and things. So I'm excited to get that done this fall. So it's definitely, that is at my core. I love, what do they call it? Like grandma style or something. Like I'm totally grandma style.
Yeah.
I love, to me, it's British style, French. It has color to it. I definitely love, we were talking about events coming up like High Point, and I'm a member of IDS and DSA. And so I will be going to Paris with IDS in a couple of weeks to Maison Object. Yes, I know. Very excited about that. There are some really lovely women. I think it's about 40 women that belong to IDS, and that's obviously one of the largest interior design associations, which I always recommend. Belong to a couple of associations. I actually got into New Hampshire magazine because someone found me on DSA. So if you're looking for a publication, that's a good way. I know I go to associations to find like wallpaper installers that are certified and so forth. So plus you can get good insurance and so forth. But yes, I'm excited to go to IDS in Paris, with IDS in Paris. And then I'm looking forward to High Point in October. I'll be bringing my window treatment designer. We have quite a few meetings that we've got set up with vendors.
Wow. Okay. So on the topic of Paris, I remember when we were doing your website, we had pictures of Paris and your travels. And so that's just like full circle amazing.
Yep. I love Paris. It's my favorite city. I went to Paris the first time when I was 18, and I just, I love the city. It's to me it's one of those, I think all designers can say, oh, why did you become an interior designer? What are those, yes, you like to move your bedroom furniture around, but I was very inspired by at a young age, traveling and experiencing different architecture and flavors. And I was just talking to my Norwalk furniture rep. She was here actually yesterday morning. We were doing some things with my fabric. And I remember I was telling her, when I went to Paris the first time, the bedding was so beautiful. I was just overwhelmed by the gorgeous bedding in the hotel, and I never looked back. I never looked back. I was like, I will always have nice bedding. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I've gone a couple times now, and it's like a fairy tale. You're just walking through like some kind of dream, basically.
I know.
The architecture, the interiors, the furniture, the food.
Food.
Just everything.
Yeah, it is. It's lovely. Yeah, it's really lovely. So
I definitely see those little touches in your home. And I wonder if you do that in your clients' projects, add a little bit of that Parisian cottagey coziness to those maybe clients that are open to it.
Yep, I sneak it in. I do sneak it in. And I try to find it different ways, whether it's through a wallpaper or a fabric or, we do a lot of custom kitchen cabinetry. I've got a really great cabinet company, a custom cabinet that I work for. So whether it's a color or a blend of colors, I remind people that you've hired an interior designer to bring you inspiration, to step outside of the box and at least listen. And sometimes they're like, nope, hard pass. And other times they're like, oh, actually, you know what? I think I would really like that. So, yeah, so you just have to, I think you just always have to ask the question, like, I really want to share this with you, and I really want you to think about it. And that's another reason why I like to be in the spaces with people, because, you know, we're doing this new build, and I wanted to do a wall treatment with a textured wall with an artist in Houston. She comes up here a few times a year, and she's an artist, and she does like textures on walls and ceilings, you know, gold leaf and all the things, like you name it, she does it. And she brought me some samples, and I was like, you know, I think I wonder if my client would like this. I'm going to take it to the house, and I'm going to show her, I'm going to put the sample board on the wall. I said, now just think about it. And you got to sell a little, right? Like being an interior designer is being a salesperson, and we cannot lie about that, right? Like you are a salesperson. And I'm like, just imagine this. You're sitting at the dining room table, you're looking at the wall and look at the texture, the colors. And she's like, oh, you're right. That's really beautiful. I'm like, okay, so there. So I think that's another reason why I like being in person and touching the things and showing the things, is that I'm a better salesperson in person, I think. I do better presentations in person than I do. So it just kind of looked full circle for me about how I run my business and work with clients.
No, that's exciting. I mean, I'm always about your brand and niching down and, you know, being more authentic, and you definitely have evolved, you know, and all designers do that. Every few years, we're kind of morphing, we're changing, we're going with, you know, this trend that we really like that has affected us and it's resonated with us, and we learn constantly. So I am super proud, you know, very proud to see your transition, because I remember when you were still working your 9-to-5 and, you know, in the corporate world, and you had those dreams of like, I just want to design, I want to decorate, I want to leave, you know, this job.
Yes.
And, you know, we started doing those small steps of like, well, let's discover, you know, your design style and kind of who your ideal client would be, and just dream big. You know, we were trying to dream big into what all that meant. And now look at you. You have your own firm with your own design assistant, I heard. You got your assistant?
Yeah, we have a few on staff. I've got a part-timer that does, you know, decorating and staging and that kind of thing for me. I have a full-time window treatment designer. I have a part-time, she's in college, but she's going to design school. So she's a couple days a week. So she does all my she does a lot of my marketing content. She does some of my SketchUp. So, you know, training her and working with her, you know, and then I have an installer. So I have a team of people that are the trades that I bring onto projects as necessary. So there's a whole group of guys on that side of it.
You have a team. Like you have an empire. You're building the Arcone empire.
I know we are a team, and that's important. Like I was saying, I don't want to go buy a European wallpaper and then just have Joe Schmo put it up on the wall. I need a good guy. Like I need a really good guy. So
well, that's awesome, because you're learning more about your values, like you said, which is a part of your brand and part of your niche, and it all ties together, because they could go with somebody off of Thumbtack, but they keep coming to you because you're all about quality and those values. So I think that's something, you know, that our listeners can learn, because you could go in a completely different direction. You know, if you want to work with people with smaller budgets, you know, that kind of need that maybe Thumbtack person, you know, and can provide reliable people or apps or services or things like that. But for you, I mean, I'm just blown away. Like, you have an empire, you have a team. I mean, look what's behind you. Look at all of those samples.
It's a little bit of a mess right now. We've got a lot of things around us right now.
That is not a mess. That is like eye candy. That is an interior designer in a candy store is right behind you.
I know. We're squirrels too. We're a bunch of squirrels here, so we try to stay focused, which is why we've got like fabric and everything all over the place. You don't even see half of it over here.
Oh my gosh. If you're anything like me, I'm always just like, maybe I could use this, you know, for a different project, right? You know, and it's like, maybe I need to get rid of some of these, but I just always think, you know, someone else will like this. I will use this.
I know. We're like, we're not giving up. We're not giving up on this fabric. We got to put it on somebody's wall or somebody's windows. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited and happy that you're able to speak to our listeners today. Do you have any advice for maybe the people who are like you in their 9-to-5, daydreaming about maybe e-design or interior design? And what advice would you give kind of them, aka your past self, right? Just kind of stuck in that job and wondering, what should I do? How can I break free of this like you did?
Yeah, no, I think it's understanding how you like to work. I think that's really key. And I didn't like working virtually. So it was important for me to have the physicality of a design firm was important to me. I also worked for about 9 months for another interior designer in her studio and shop. She really was a window treatment designer, and she did some design work, but she had, did custom furniture and so forth. So working with her and learning how she works and how she doesn't work. And I learned a lot about what client I've known, obviously, having a corporate career and working with business to business, what the expectations are and how to communicate. So I had all of that down. So I did see some of the flaws in her business model that I knew I wasn't going to be doing in my own firm because it didn't align with my values. We're constantly sending gifts. I mean, we sent chocolates to one of our window treatment vendors. We send thank you cards. We do a lot of thank you. We're, I think you have, and I see a lot of this interior design, and this may be controversial, but you got to take the ego out of it, because it is not all about you. It is about the people who are paying you a lot of money to execute a design. And so while it is your craft and your magic that you bring this design together, it is their money they are paying you. And I'm not saying the client is always right, because they are not always right, and you sometimes have to adjust and work around that. But you have to take your ego out of this. And I think that's really important. Is that, yes, you want to execute a design, something in there the client may not like. You have to respect that, as much as it kills us inside. You've got to be really respectful. So I think, build your team as you're doing this. So, I hired you, we worked together. You have to make an investment in your business. I went and got an interior design certification. Again, controversial. I believe in education. I think you have to get some kind of education. I had 30 years of business experience, and I went to my local university and took an interior design certification for a year. Hire professionals. You cannot make your own logo. You cannot build your own website. You cannot. Hire professionals. Right? You cannot do these things. You need to hire people. So there is no business ever in the world created in anywhere. If you look at any of the Fortune 500 companies that started their business by the CEO scrapping it and building everything themselves. So look at this for what it is, and it's a business. So hire the people, get the certifications. You're going to be asking people for large sums of money. You want to feel confident when you ask for that, money. So that's my advice.
I love that advice, because that helps people like me who are here to give you good branding, good websites, good social media, all the things that really interiors at the end of the day do not need to worry about. Put your creative juices with your clients and your projects, and not in the marketing, because a lot of times people don't know how to market themselves very well. And like you said, do you think maybe big companies like Apple and Steve Jobs was, doing every single thing? No, he delegated things out, and that's how Apple is what it is today. Instead of just no, let me perfect it, even though I have no idea what I'm doing. So I appreciate what you just said, and wish a lot of my clients would feel the same way. But sometimes people like to be involved in every single thing. And I think that is if you got out of your way, for some things, you could have a stronger business, a stronger brand, a stronger company, and a team. Yes. I mean, delegating out is very CEO mindset, even for those beginners out there. And I think with the scarcity mindset, oh no, maybe I'm not going to make very much money, and I'm not going to get very many projects, and I just need to, protect myself and be overly cautious. I mean, having more of an abundance mindset is so crucial in business. I don't know if that has affected you in your business or not.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know who said it, but I can agree because I've been into enough houses now in the last 4 years. There are enough ugly houses for everybody. Okay, there are enough. I promise you, everybody, there's enough ugly houses for all of us, and there's enough different design styles.
That needs to be a bumper sticker. That's by Amanda.
Exactly. And you will get to a point where you walk out of an ugly house and you're like, oh, please don't hire me. I don't even know where to start. So, there is so much out there that we can bring to them. And that's why I say, I know some people will say, well, I'm a full service interior designer and I only offer these services. I think you need to be open to listening to a client and maybe meet them where they're at. And if you didn't like doing it, then don't do it again. But I think, in the beginning, I'm working on a house doing the exteriors. I do not like picking exterior finishes. I don't. Fascias and soffits and roofing and no way. Like, I hope I don't have to do this again. I'm getting through it. So I think you have to just meet them where they're at. If someone says, I really want to work as a designer, ask them, what it is, understand what that scope of work is and give it a try. I think that's important, but I think you have to, and it's really hard, right? Like the mindset piece of it is like that's a tricky one. You really do need to understand that there is enough work out there for everyone, and you're not for everyone. That's a key point. And they're not for you.
That's probably my favorite key point is, you might not be for everybody, but that's okay because you're going to be perfect for somebody else.
You're making space. I feel like, and it's really hard. We lost a really big opportunity at the beginning of the year, and I was in that spot of like, oh my gosh, But for every interior designer, the first 6 months of this year it was really hard. The marketing. The housing market, like all the things, the interest rate, like, I know all of us are like, we're on just waiting for September and the interest rates to drop and the housing market to have a shift and people feel more comfortable about spending money on things like this. And that's a whole nother thing. But the reality is that we lost that project, but then all of a sudden we just got so busy. And I was like, oh, that we had to lose that project because it cleared space for better projects. And for us to do the projects that we already had, to do a better job on those projects that we were already in. So I think sometimes a no can be a really positive win. I think sometimes no, we don't see it at the moment, but it can be actually a really good thing. So you just have to kind of get through the no's. It's painful. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it took me a month to get over it. But you just have to if you really love this work and you're passionate about it, you got to stick with it. And I think those are the people that succeed, are the people that are just dig in and stick with it.
So when things turned around, was it because you finally let it go and you're like, okay, you know what? I don't get them all. It happens, not every client is going to move forward and that's okay. And right after that, things just snowballed.
Yeah, we just started getting really good calls and really good projects, some smaller, some bigger, and it just that went after we lost that one. A few weeks later, we got this large scale renovation that we're working on, and it has been so fun and so much more creative. And so that's why I just say, like, you're getting a no for some reason, and I don't know, not to get too woo woo on people, but I do believe that we're where we are for a reason. And I think if you're aware of that and you're grateful for that and you can try to let go of certain things, and it's a practice, right? Like, it's a daily practice, like brushing your teeth. Like, you're not going to have great teeth if you just brush your teeth every other day or every 3 days. Like, you got to do this every day. You got to be grateful every day, even though you're gritting your teeth grateful. You have to be grateful for what you have. And if you're not grateful for what you have, you're not going to get any more.
Yes, that is definitely something I just talked about when I was coaching one of the other girls in the boot camp right now. She I mean, we all have those misses. We all get imposter syndrome. We have negative days. I mean, celebrities who make millions and who are at the top of their game, it's still not enough. And they're still feeling imposter syndrome. So I try to remind, like, okay, it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to, you know, cry and, you know, let it all out and have that frustration moment. But like you said, it is kind of like a daily habit that, you know, the next day, come back with a positive attitude, and not just because I said so, but because do you want to live negatively, you know? And then, yes, to get a little woo-woo, that brings, you know, your frequency gets lowered. And so those opportunities in your life, even with friends and family, they're like, oh, I don't want to be around you. And then that trickles to other opportunities in the universe for your business and just the momentum of where life is taking you. So yes, like, brush your teeth, make it a habit to be kind to yourself, because then your goals can start like getting on a higher vibrancy and be like, wow, okay, the universe is going to be sending me, like with you, all these projects. Yes, you didn't get that big one, but you know what? I'm letting it go. Something else and someone else is going to come in its place. And you got what, like 3, 4, 5 other projects that, just like you said, were more creative, were better for you. And it's like, thank you, universe. Maybe, you know, you have my back.
Yeah, it is so true. And I think it's Maya Angelou's, like, you know, take the super glue off the back of your hand and off your forehead, like, oh, woe is me, and the world is like negative. And I forget what her saying is about that, but, you know, get that super glue off the back of your hand. You know, it's, you know, have your pity party for a few minutes and get over yourself, you know. It's right. But it is definitely, it's a practice. And but it's something that in this business, or any business for that matter, because interior design is not an easy business, right? Like, there are so many details and nuances, and you have to be all the things to all the people, and you have to manage expectations and communication. And so it's incumbent upon you to really present yourself very positively. I mean, no one wants to hire Eeyore to redecorate their house, you know? I mean, come on. We love him and he's cuddly, but it's exhausting. So I think that's really important to consider.
Yes, the universe is all about Tigger. I mean, he's jumping up and down, he's positive, he's happy. Yeah. The vibrancy is like just, you know, radiating. It's almost like laughing, it's contagious. So just like yawning, right? Yawning is contagious too. So which do you want to put out into the universe, into the world?
Yeah. Laughing is endorphins and all the things. So, you know, we sometimes, after bad projects or if something's going on with a client, and especially if I'm here with, you know, my Christine, my window treatment designer, we start making fun and laughing and try to laugh it out, you know, just like try to shed it in a way that's more positive, you know. I mean, nothing, if you're getting involved, especially in anything with construction, I think this is really, really good advice for any interior designer that's getting in. If anybody's just moving a wall or like chipping tile off a wall, it doesn't matter if it revolves dust or a tradesperson, nothing will go 100%. Like, there's going to be a problem. There are going to be issues. Like, it's just, it's by virtue of what happens when you do things in someone's home. Like, it's too many people doing too many things. So I think it's setting that expectation, say, hey, I'm here to do what I can, but there are probably going to be some challenges that will come up, but I'm going to be here and fix things and organize things the best I can, you know. So
I actually saw a really good bumper sticker that said, I'm tired, but I'm here. And I loved that, because I think, you know, a lot of times, sometimes you just don't want to get out of bed, or, you know, you could be focusing on the negativity or just all of the bad things, but it's like, just show up. Even for those new designers out there, interiors or e-design, like, just show up and learn something. And, you know, it's whether it's a bad day or not, shake it off. And I love that you said, even with your team, you're like, let's just laugh it out, you know, like, let's just be positive and laugh it out. I love that. I think I'm going to steal that and try to do that. Just like
yeah, it's really important, because it's not, you know, interior design is not an easy, it's not an easy business. You know, it really is. You got to put your feet steady on the ground, and you really are digging in. So I think that's an important one for people to remember, is that it's not, as I tell my my intern that's here a couple days a week, it's not all glamorous. It's not all glamorous. We do get to work with beautiful fabrics and go in really beautiful homes and do those things, but the reality is it's not a glamorous business when you're running a business.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm super excited to see where you are and where you came from. And, it gives our listeners a lot of hope that you could be doing that 9-to-5, feeling stuck, but you can break free of that and be running an empire like Amanda here.
Yeah, no, you can do it. You just gotta, it takes a lot of grit and patience, because it does take time. On the marketing side of it is get your act together, make it look professional, work with professionals. I'd say, if you're working a corporate job and you want to switch over, you've got to save your beans. You got to have, some understanding of what the investment looks like to get started on a full-time basis. So really hatch a plan. You need a business plan. Sit down and write a business plan. Go to your local SBA office, Small Business Administration, and have someone help you. That's free stuff. Like, build a business plan so you know then what next steps you need to go. And okay, I've got to have XYZ for a marketing person and da 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 da. So it's really important to build a plan. And you do a lot of that in your programs, is that you're trying to understand, well, if we're going to market you, what are we marketing? So I think I can't stress that enough. You got to hire. And it's painful in the beginning because you're like, I'm not really making any money. But you've got to have some money set aside to do it.
Yes, that's the big thing that I try to get people to understand. It takes money, to make money. And if you want to kind of still be stuck, that's fine. But if you want to get to that next level, hiring people that know more than you, because you don't know everything. And I hate breaking that to other designers. It's just
I know.
Reality check, our brains, you kind of are, they're trying to help us. They're trying to keep us safe, right? But sometimes that gets in the way of like, well, wait, maybe I don't know how to do graphic design or how to do a website or how to do marketing or social media. And just because designers try to attempt to do it doesn't mean they're doing it well. So I really appreciate you saying, like, hire people, work with people, get other people, because alone you can do so little, but with a team you can do so much.
You can, and once you can get on the other side of uncomfortable, that's where the glory is, right? Getting on the other side of that. So saying, do I need, I don't know what I would have done if we didn't do the website the way we did, because it became the entry into my business. It allowed me to then understand Google Ads, and especially in the world of AI, if people think they can build their own website and how Google is managing websites and as AI evolves, like, you need to have like a real website built on the rails of a really good system, like a Wix or whatever, and it needs to be cohesive, because that is how, and especially virtual designers, because at least I have a front door and a commercial address, so I have that, you get a little bump on Google when you have a commercial address, but you really need to have that. I still get a lot of leads do come from referrals now, but I get a lot from Google, from my website. Yeah. So it's important. That's really important that they have, the blogging and the things that you talk about. So you got to get that built correctly.
Yeah. And I work with a ton of full service interior designers. I market myself to help e-designers, but so many full service want my help too, because they understand that this is the digital age. It's not about being in the yellow pages anymore, and not everybody has a brick and mortar. And they're just like, well, this means that there's more weighing on my branding, on my social media, on my website to get me that discovery call. So you can only make one first impression. And so if you have like a rickety logo that you made yourself or a one-pager website that still has stock images, like, you're not really setting yourself up for success. And like you said, if you want to charge premium, you gotta, have your stuff looking premium, and that's why you're not using people off Thumbtack or Craigslist to do those the tiling for your company.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just an important part, I think, important even first step really, in taking your business to the next level and helping you figure out where you're going to go. People still, they're going to the Googles to find, interior designer near me. So, or however they're going to find you, it's just important to figure that out. So,
yeah. Okay. Well, any last, takeaways that you can give us, or even shout outs to certain people out there?
No, I say, like what I'd said before is, you're building a business and you need business resources, and you really need to get yourself into that mindset. Interior design is 80% business, 20% design. I hate to break that to people, but when you're actually running a design firm, that's where it lands. I'll say 80% of my day, maybe 70%, depending on what we're doing. But your days are never 100% creative if you're trying to run a business, unfortunately. So you've got to think about those back end systems and processes and your marketing. So I leave it at that. As much as I hate to say that, because I think it was one of the first things that broke my heart. I'm like, oh, wow, I got to really do a lot of work. I can't just color and play with fabric all day.
Well, then that also leads back to you were working under somebody after you left the 9-to-5 corporate job. And that is like exploring kind of what you really liked and what you don't like. And maybe that gives people like, oh, well, you know what, if I'm trying it out on my own and it is that 80% business behind the scenes stuff that I don't want to do, then this is a good point to like go under somebody, work under a company, work under, someone who does have it all together and learn from them like you did. You were observing kind of your mentor, right? And just seeing, ooh, I like this and I don't like that. And, that's really what it comes down to. Building your business and your brand is about your preferences and, like you said, your values and what you want to do and what also you don't want to do. So do not be the interior designer for every style and every person and everything, because Google, since you brought up Google, doesn't like that. It's kind of like, wait, I don't know who to send you. I don't know, when people are searching for things, I don't think that you're the person that I should send them to, right? So keywords are king. And so learning more about your style and your tastes and what you can kind of put out into the world that is authentically you, like we did with your website and your branding, it screams Amanda Arcone. There is nothing like it out there. Like it is all your own and it's very authentic to you. So I don't want our listeners to lose faith, that like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do interior design.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, I mean, if you're going to do it, I mean, but the reality is if you want to do it, and I hate to have, really hard, I have a long corporate background. So I sometimes take a little bit of a hard line on certain things and I have my hard opinions on certain things, unfortunately, also too, because I'm like, I'm in my late 50s. So I have climbed the mountain and I have my opinions here with me on the top of the mountain. So, I think education experience is really helpful. Like I said, we're taking money from people. And so we need to, present ourselves in a certain way. So getting experience and exposure and understanding what you like to do is really important, but also what you're not good at. Don't do what you're not good at. I'm not good at measuring windows, so I had to hire a person to do that. Like, I can't do that. I want to design beautiful window treatments, but I can't do, like, there are certain things I just know I can't do. Like, this will probably be the last time I ever do exterior selections because I don't like it. And I don't know if I'm really that good at it. We'll see. So, just a reminder.
I like that you try it.
Yeah,
you take a stab at it, you try at it.
That's exactly right. So, you really have to be honest with yourself about what it is you like and what it is you don't like, and also what you're good at and what you're not good at. So that's a whole discovery process, just like, and some of that can be done when you hire these professionals. I think we learned a lot about what it is I like when we did a bunch of the marketing strategy at the beginning, so and branding. So and that evolved, right? Like some of that changed for me. So people just need to be open to that And if they don't hire somebody, then they don't know what they don't know. And that's not in a good place to be all the time too. I mean, you can be there sometimes, but you can't do that all the time.
Yeah, I love what you said earlier about having flexibility in your, in what you do with your projects. But that leading back now to this point of like, well, you can be flexible and try different things and different styles and learn more about what you like and what you don't like, but you do not need to do it forever. Like for you, like, can you imagine doing 10 more exterior roofing projects down the road?
Yeah. No.
Like,
no.
And it's okay to say no. I try to remind people, you can say no. Like, it's okay. And that scarcity mentality of like, well, I don't know if I'm going to get another project. And look what happened with you, where something fell through, but 5 other things came in, like making space, right? You said, for something better and bigger, maybe.
That's right. So you gotta get your. It's not always easy every day, but if you do that, I think you'll be successful. And success means different things for different people. So you'll be whatever kind of success you want to be. You don't have to have a brick and mortar store, like, all the things. You can do it in a different way. So it can be done in so many different ways. It just has to be authentic to you.
It can be online, right? Like me.
It can be. Absolutely. Like if that is where you're comfortable, and a lot of people are. If you're comfortable in that space and your designs work well within that space and you don't feel held back, you feel inspired by working that way. That's the most important thing, is what inspires you to be passionate about this. You've got to figure that out. For me, it wasn't online. And I do a little bit online. Like I start sometimes because my clients aren't always here. So I have to send digital design boards, which I kind of sort of like to do, but just to keep the conversation going, keep the project moving. Obviously, I have second homeowners. They're not up here all the time.
Right.
So there is a piece of it that does happen. I do Zoom calls with my clients, so there are things that we do. But am I excited that my client is going to be here Saturday morning and we can stand in the new kitchen? I love that. That's more where I thrive, and I can have better conversation. But that's me. That's not everybody. I like to go to networking events. A lot of people don't. I'm like an introverted extrovert. I don't know, or extroverted introvert or something.
Awesome.
I forget what it's called. But there's all these personality types. But there's a piece of me that likes to hide behind the computer for a short bit of time. But then I need to get in front and stand in front of the people and touch the things and do the things. And execute the thing. So it's different for every single person. But that person, who you are, you need to figure out what it is, what kind of work and how to work inspires you. That's, I think, a critical piece of it.
I love that. And with that, that's a high note. We're going to end on a high note. And because even though any business you create, it doesn't have to be interior design or e-design or, whatever it is, it'll be hard work. If you really want it to be successful, I don't think there's any real business that you can make that is just going to fall in your lap and be super easy. So this is wise words and wisdom from someone who was in a 9-to-5, because a lot of my clients are afraid to leave their 9-to-5s, but you are a success story not because it just landed in your lap, but because there is hard work to it.
Yep. And it's a continuing story, right? Like we're always learning and we're always trying and we're always trying to do better. And that's kind of what my goal every day is just, what can we do a little bit better today than we did yesterday?
Gosh, you've said so many bumper stickers. Like I'm going to tell my assistant, like, please, like, write all of these down because I love these things. And you need to have a little shop. I'm all about the Amanda Arcone shop with these bumper stickers and wise words. Thank you so much for being on Peer to Peer, the podcast for interior designers, just to learn, and e-designers. So thank you. You've given us so much advice and a beautiful story, and I'm just over the moon with your evolution the last 3 years now, maybe going on 4. Like, this is insane. Girl, you've just done so much, and I thought it was just like in a blink, it's been like 2-3 years. What? How long has it been? Like, I just can't believe it feels like with COVID, you always minus like 1 or 2 years because you forget about that.
I know, it's like a time warp. It was a time
But
warp.
congratulations on all of your success. And thank you so much for being on this podcast. And I'm sure our listeners are very grateful for all of your advice. So thank you again, Amanda.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. It was great. I had fun catching up.
Feel free to reach out with any questions anytime. I'm super excited to always get to know my community of e-designers and interior designers. If you have any topic requests, be sure to also send those my way. I'm super excited to create episodes that are going to help you guys, my peers. So peer to peer, thanks again.